Well, good afternoon and welcome to We Are HCMC TV, and we are at the Tongnat Stadium as we get ready for tonight's opening home game of the 2021 LS V-League season. City entertain Honglin Hartin and kickoff is at 7:15 p.m. Both teams come into tonight's game on the back of opening weekend defeats. Our visitors losing 2-1 at home to Tan Quang Ninh, who incidentally are City's next opponents after tonight's game. City, well, everyone knows, we were defeated 1-0 away to SHB Da Nang. Now, if you only watched the highlights of the game, you would be mistaken in believing that City were lucky to only be defeated 1-0, that Da Nang dominated the game from start to finish. But have a look at the stats. City had 65% of possession. We had more shots than Da Nang. We had more shots on goal than Da Nang. We had more corners than Da Nang. Unfortunately, there's one stat that counts, and only one stat, and that's the goal stats. Da Nang won, Ho Chi Minh City 0. So, moving on to today and our opponents. Games between Ho Chi Minh City and Hartin are few. We've only ever met 2 times before, and both times were last season during the 2020 season. First time in July, City lost 1-0. We had enough opportunities to score. We was playing a bit of ping pong in their defence, but we just couldn't find that final pass. The second game, November, again it was scheduled to be an away game in Hartin, but because of the devastation caused in the storms in the region, the game was switched here. City that night came out 3-2 victors. Tran Phi Sun scored twice and Ariel Rodriguez scoring the other goal. Now Tran Phi Sun, everyone knows Tran Phi Sun, City legend, now captain of our opponents. So, players to look out for tonight's game. Well, there's only one person for the opponents, and that is Phi Sun. 50 appearances for City, 11 goals. But much more than that, his influence on the pitch was immense. The guy can change the game. He's a skillful player. He's a bit like a kid in a candy store. Give him a football and his eyes light up. He's a different character. A great guy, great player, will be missed. For City, could pick many players, could pick one of their 2 Brazilians, Lee Si-min, Diakate. But if you're going for a like for like, then there's only one person. And he caused a media storm on Friday when he came out of quarantine, and that's Lee Wing. Lee Wing started his career in Holland, PSV Eindhoven, went to Denmark, had a stint here in Vietnam for 2-3 years before going stateside, MLS football, and where he carved out a fantastic career. Now, out of quarantine, playing for City, exciting times potentially ahead. Tonight's game, who will play? Who will make Coach Mano's first home starting 11 of the season? Well, I see no real changes to the side that played in Da Nang, to be perfectly honest. The only differences would be maybe up front, and unfortunately that could mean Jung Nam drops to the bench and Yao Barlow will come in and play from the start. He had 45 minutes in Da Nang and showed enough that there's something there. There's something that could be activated tonight, and we could be in for exciting times. So unfortunately Jung Nam will drop out and Yao Barlow will start. Now, Lee Wing. Will Lee Wing start? And if he starts, who misses out? Well, I believe he will start. Is it a risk? Maybe a little bit of a risk. He's only come out of quarantine, but the guy looked fit in training on Friday. So I believe he will start, and the unfortunate guy to miss out would be Lee Si-min. They're pretty much like for like players. I can't see Hong Tin missing out. Lam Tifong could start instead of Lee Si-min. They're quite similar players, but no, I believe it's Lee Wing. Lee Wing will start, and Seaman will drop to the bench. Before we leave and I go enjoy my pre-match cup of coffee routines, there were two games in the V-League yesterday and they are both worthy of mention. Hanoi hosted Binh Duong and Saigon went to Nha Trang to play Bun Din. First, the earlier game was the Bun Din Saigon game, and I'm happy to report it was Bun Din 1, Saigon 0. Fantastic result. What a great way to start the weekend. Then later on, 7:15 kickoff, Hanoi at home to Binh Duong. Last week Hanoi lost 3-0 and they blamed the pitch. There can be no complaints about the pitch when you're playing at home. The ball could be too round, the grass could be too green. Well, Hanoi, they took the lead. Everything going swimmingly for the home side. Then Victor Mansoret, who again City fans will remember, he had a spell with City, decided to come into the game and equalise. Binh Duong then took the initiative and took the game to the hosts and snatched the winner. So Hanoi 1, Binh Duong 2. Hanoi sit bottom of the table after 2 games with 0 points. Saigon, another defeat, always good to see. But these results only mean something if we do the business tonight. And I know Coach Mano is desperate for City to put on a show in front of the home fans and to tell the watching media that we mean business this season, that we are going to challenge. So it'll be an exciting game, hard game, Phi Son, and they got Ismail Akinde as well playing for them, another ex-City player, 11 appearances, 4 goals in 2019. But I fully expect a City victory. A hard victory, but a City victory. 1 or 2 Brazilians will score, and wouldn't it be great if Lee Wing, on his debut, was to put the ball in the back of the net and send the City fans home very happy tonight. So, I'm off for my coffee. See you later, hopefully with a big cheesy smile on my face. Forza City.